Good morning, naturalist Lisa Johnson here with the North Lakeland Discovery Center in our Discover at Home series. It is currently Monday, May 25th, and I've been seeing a lot of beautiful ephemeral wildflowers in the woods around my house, and I wanted to share some of those with you. The word ephemeral means temporary, and so just like ephemeral ponds that eventually dry up over the summer season, these flowers, some of them only last a few days, some last just a week or two, and so when we do see them, it's very exciting. But I've been noticing a lot of really great ones, and I wanted to share those with you, and so you can learn how to identify what you're seeing in your forest as well. Here we have the wood anemone. It is in the buttercup family. It's got the single white flower there that you can see. Some people call it mayflower, but there's a different flower that kind of has that name too. It's very common here in the springtime. What's neat about it is that they produce a long horizontal underground rootstock known as a rhizome that forms a large mat and produces large patches of growth, which is kind of cool. The genus name anemone comes from the Greek word for wind and refers to the plant's thin stalk, which sometimes will tremble in the wind. These plants are really neat because they need to get pretty old before they can actually flower, and it takes about 5 years for them to reach that flowering age. So that's our wood anemone. Another white spring flower in the buttercup family is the Goldthread. This is really, really small, and it's got really thin little stalk here that sticks straight up, and normally find these kind of in boggy areas. They get their name from their roots that actually are a really pretty bright golden yellow color, and you can kind of see here when you dig down a little bit, and here's the flower, and then here is the leaves are real shiny, which kind of helps you identify it. But if you look down in here, you can see that the roots have a really bright yellow, golden yellow color, giving it the name Goldthread. Another spring flower that we are finding right now, and it is May 25th today when I film this, is the Canada mayflower, also known as wild lily of the valley. This flower head here is just starting to be ready to open. It was kind of like in a bit of a cone shape, but they are in the lily family, and they have these couple of leaves, sometimes 2 or 3 separate leaves that are heart-shaped at the base. You can see that there, a little bit heart-shaped, but a fun little flower that these leaves actually just came up the other day. You can see that little cone of flowers is going to open up here pretty soon, and those flowers are also white, our Canada mayflower. We also have this little yellow flower that is opening up across the forest floor. It's been out for a little while now. This is our Barren strawberry. It's got these kind of groups of 3 leaves here. It looks just like a strawberry plant, the wild strawberry. The flower looks very similar to it as well as the leaves, but it is yellow in color. It gets its name Barren strawberry because the fruit that it has, if it even has, is like real tiny and inedible. So Barren is not really anything fruit producing that we can eat compared to our wild strawberries. But Barren strawberry is very common around here in our forest and is definitely open up right now. So here we have our wild strawberry. It's actually in the rose family, and the leaves here actually kind of look like rose leaves. Here have like a wild rose bush around your place, but very similar to the Barren strawberry, but the flower is white and the inside is yellow, and of course these produce really, really sweet, wonderful berries later in the summer. And this is actually the original plant from which all cultivated strawberries are derived from. So thanks for that, wild strawberry. And you can pretty much find these anywhere in the state. And when you're looking at this particular plant, the flowers and the fruit are always on stems that are separate from the leaves, so they don't all come off of one stem. But the flower here is separate from the leaf, but also when the fruit comes, it'll be on its own separate stem as well. But we just love eating and picking our little tiny wild strawberries. They're so good. Another spring flower that we will soon be seeing actually flower is the Starflower. It's got some really nice little delicate stem and petals here. It gets its name because of the shape. they have 7 petals in their flower, which is really unique, so it kind of helps them to be identified. What's really cool is the Latin name. The genus name Trientalis comes from the Latin word meaning 1/3 of a foot, referring to the height of the plant. And the species name Borealis comes from the Latin word meaning northern, referring to its northern growing range. So I will post a little photo of what this flower actually looks like, but it will be coming out pretty soon here in the forest, the Starflower. So this is probably one of my favorite ephemeral woodland flowers, and I'm really excited because this is the first time I'm actually seeing this flower out this season, which is very exciting. But this is called the Fringed polygala. I've heard people call it the Fringed polygala. I like to call it gay wings because the flower actually resembles like a bird with wings, and it gets the fringed name at the very top of the plant of the flower. There's like a little fringe on there, but it's a beautiful magenta, pinkish purple color, which is really, really, really gorgeous. It really sticks out on the forest floor. It's in the milkwort family. And so this is just a really unique and fun woodland flower called gay wings, but look for that kind of magenta pink, purple. And it looks like it's going to fly away. It's got 2 wings there. So look for that one. It's just literally coming out right now. Another really early spring ephemeral woodland flower is the trailing arbutus, and this has actually been out for a couple weeks now, and it's kind of coming to its close. A lot of the plants, the flowers are kind of falling off and dying away. But this is a really, it smells so good. These little white flowers smell super, super good. It's in the heath family, and you usually find it like sandy or rocky woods. But what's cool about these guys is their leaves are kind of thick and leathery when you touch them, and they are kind of at the end of like a long stem that's really hairy, really kind of fuzzy there. But the flowers grow in clusters at the end of the stem and kind of lay flat on the forest floor, and they kind of just spread out and around. So here we've got our trailing arbutus, and again, these guys are kind of on their way out. They've been around for a little while, but they do smell good, and it's one of the first signs of spring that I look for when the snow starts to go away. If you're looking for some great guides for wildflowers in the forest, Wildflowers of Wisconsin Field Guide by Stan Tequila is a great one. There's some really wonderful photos, and it actually puts the flowers by color. So you can see on the thing there, you can see if a flower is a certain color, you can go right to that section and try to find out what it is. It has really great photos, but doesn't have every flower that we actually even saw today. My favorite guide is the Newcomb's Wildflower Guide. And this is just fabulous. There's not as, it's got drawings, but it does have pretty much every species you're going to find in Wisconsin in here. And so there's some really fun information, some sketches, a few colored drawings as well in there. But these are my 2 favorite go-to wildflower guides for our flowers in Wisconsin. Thank you so much for joining me on my wildflower hike this morning at my house. If you're seeing any other interesting wildflowers out in the woods, post pictures below if you're not sure what they are, and share the beauty that the Northwoods has to offer this time of year. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.